Emphatically, Mr. Purcell didn't believe in ghosts. Nevertheless, the man who bought the 2 doves and his strange act immediately thereafter left him with a distinct sense of the eerie. Purcell was a small, fussy man, red cheeks and a tight melon stomach. He owned a pet shop. He sold cats, dogs, and monkeys. He dealt in fish food and bird seed, and prescribed remedies for ailing canaries. He considered himself something of a professional man. There was a bell over the door that jangled whenever a customer entered. This morning, however, for the first time Mr. Purcell could recall, it failed to ring. Simply he glanced up, and there was the stranger, standing just inside the door as if he had materialized out of thin air. The storekeeper slid off his stool. From the first instant, he knew instinctively, unreasonably, that the man hated him. But out of habit, he rubbed his hands briskly together, smiled, and nodded. "Good morning," he beamed. "What can I do for you?" The man's shiny shoes squeaked forward. His suit was cheap, ill-fitting, but obviously new. A gray pallor deadened his pinched features. He had a shuddering glance and close cropped hair. He stared closely at Purcell and said, "I want something in a cage." "Something in a cage?" Purcell was a bit confused. "You mean some kind of pet?" "I mean what I said," snapped the man. "Something alive that's in a cage. Something alive that's in a cage." "I see," hastened the storekeeper, not at all certain that he did. "Now let me think. A white rat, perhaps?" "No," said the man. "Not rats. Something with wings. Something that flies." "A bird!" exclaimed Mr. Purcell. "A bird's all right." The customer pointed suddenly to a suspended cage which contained 2 snowy birds. "Doves? How much for those?" $5.50, and a very reasonable price. $5.50. The sallow man was obviously crestfallen. He hesitantly produced a $5 bill. "I'd like to have those birds, but this is all I've got, just $5. Mentally, Mr. Purcell made a quick calculation which told him that at a 50-cent reduction, he could still reap a tidy profit. He smiled magnanimously. "My dear man, if you want them that badly, you can certainly have them for $5. I'll take them." He laid his $5 on the counter. Mr. Purcell teetered on tiptoe, unhooked the cage, and handed it to the customer. The man cocked his head to one side, listening to the constant chittering, the rushing scurry of the shop. "That noise," he blurted. "Doesn't it get to you? I mean, all this cage stuff. Drives you crazy, doesn't it?" Purcell drew back. Either the man was insane or drunk. "Listen," the staring eyes came closer. "How long do you think it took me to make that $5? The merchant wanted to order him out of the shop, but he heard himself dutifully asking, Why, how long did it take you?" The other laughed. 10 years at hard labor, 10 years to earn $5, 50 cents a year. It was best, Purcell decided, to humor him. My, 10 years. "They give you $5, laughed the man, "in a cheap suit and tell you not to get caught again." Mr. Purcell mopped his sweating brow. "Now about the care and feeding of—" Bah! The sallow man swung around and stalked abruptly from the store. Purcell sighed with sudden relief. He waddled to the window and stared out. Just outside, his peculiar customer had halted. He was holding the cage shoulder high, staring at his purchase. Then, opening the cage, he reached inside and drew out one of the doves. He tossed it in the air. He drew out the second and tossed it after the first. They rose like wind-blown balls of fluff and were lost in the smoky gray of the wintry city. For an instant, the liberator's silent and uplifted gaze watched after them. Then he dropped the cage, a futile, suddenly forlorn figure. He shoved both hands deep in his trouser pockets, hunched down his head, and shuffled away. The merchant's brow was puckered with perplexity. Now why, Mr. Purcell muttered, did he do that? He felt vaguely insulted.